Ms. Poh Li San.
Mr. Chairman, may I take two cards
Yes,
together?
please.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I would like to first declare my interest as an executive in the Changi Airport Group. The aviation sector has been one of the hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. Although the spread of the Omicron variant has been a drag on the recovery of the sector, there was still cautious optimism at the beginning of this year that global air travel demand will pick up over the course of 2022. Unfortunately, the war in Ukraine has now cast a shadow over the much anticipated recovery of this sector. As Russia accounts for about 10% of the world's supply of crude oil, there will be serious disruptions due to the sanctions against Russia by the international community. Not only will oil prices jump, there will also be an impact on the supplies of jet fuel and, in turn, an upward pressure on the price of plane tickets. Flights over Europe may also need to be rerouted due to the war. Would the Ministry share its views on these events and their impact and its outlook for the aviation sector? What is our strategy going forward to minimize the impact of the pandemic and the war on our aviation sector? Despite these challenges, we should try to proceed to open our borders safely. Will the Ministry provide an update on the upcoming plans to reopen our borders, and with different countries issuing different travel regulations in their attempts to control the pandemic? Air travel has become challenging and fraught with confusion. There should be better coordination among countries. A uniform set of travel regulations would be more helpful to rejuvenate air travel. What is the Ministry's view on this, and what can Singapore do to contribute to improve cooperation with our partner countries, especially those with the most traffic with Singapore? Mr. Chairman, the aviation sector is a manpower-intensive sector, with more than 50,000 workers working in Changi Airport pre-COVID. After more than 2 years of pandemic, how many workers were still employed at the end of 2021? With the gradual resumption of travel, how can the government ensure that there are sufficient workers to cope with the border reopening? What are the measures to increase the automation of labor-intensive jobs? And in the longer term, how can we ensure that the aviation sector remains attractive and provides good jobs? How will the government continue to support the sector to scale up its capacity and capabilities? Next cut. Last month, the Civil Aviation Authority of Singapore convened the inaugural meeting of the International Advisory Panel on Sustainable Air Hub to develop a blueprint for Singapore to become a sustainable aviation hub. Will the Ministry share more about its plans under the blueprint? Companies in the aviation sector are trying to keep afloat amidst a very difficult environment caused by the prolonged COVID-19 pandemic and now the war in Ukraine, which will lead to high oil prices. What will the government do to help the aviation sector cope with the increased carbon taxes in addition to the other cost pressures? What grants and funds are available for the aviation industry to invest in new technology and equipment that will reduce carbon emissions and boost energy efficiency? Thank you.